Hi, I'm your host Bharat Bhushan. Today in this video, we'll have a PTE Academic mock test with answers. At the end of this video, I'll share the answers for all section question types. 20 question types will be there. First section will be your speaking, writing, and reading, listening. So be with me till the end of this video. By practicing this mock test, you will experience real question types of PTE exam, and you will experience the real scenario in your PTE exam. So be with me in this video till the end. Like, share and subscribe my channel Bharat Bhushan for more PTE videos. Click on bell icon for more updates. So first section is your speaking. In this section, first question type is read aloud. So this is the question you will have in your real PTE exam. This is the format. So there will be a recorder answer box which show you your time, where your beginning in, like they're showing 39 seconds. So you will have probably 40 seconds to prepare this question. So in 40 seconds you just read it in your mind so that you will be comfortable while you're speaking. And the key to success in this question type is your fluency with the right intonations, your ups and downs of particular words. You have to put stress on important words. Alright, so best of luck. So I'll going through this particular video. So I'll give you some time, the required time here to give the answer. So you can record your answers on your mobile or laptop, and at the end of this video you will check the answers. Alright, so let's start here. So just now start your reading of this question and record it. Next 40 seconds, but try to finish it up as early possible in 15 seconds, 20 seconds, because that will show your fluency. So let's start here. Alright, I hope you recorded your answer now. Alright, so you can check your answer later. So let's move to the next question. So this is the complete mock test, and you will have the same number of questions which will come in your real exam. Second question. Alright, moving to the next question. Guys, please record all your answers. This is the third question. Alright, moving to the next. Fourth question. So I'm giving you a little about 20 to 30 seconds. In 5 or 10 seconds you just have a scan this paragraph, and then next try to finish your recording in 20 seconds. Alright, moving to the next. Fifth question. Read aloud. Moving to the next question. Read aloud sixth question. Alright, now this is the next question type. Repeat sentence. So this kind of screen you will have in your real exam. Okay, and you will have this status bar, recorded answer beginning in 8 seconds. This kind of two bars will be you have there, and bottom of this you have the so here you will hear a recording of for a sentence, and you have to repeat that. So I'm going to read out all the recordings, so you hear me and then you record your answer. Accordingly you can check later with your answers. So first item, there will be a conference here next summer on using the web for academic research. Next item 2, the university has a world renowned school of archaeology. So once I finish reading the transcript, you can start your speaking and you can record your answer. Next question. Successful applicants will work with a large team of researchers. Next question. Higher number of patients were infected than during previous outbreak of the illness. The final year will consist of 4 thoughts courses and 1 project. Next. He started his tutorial presentation right on time. Next. The nearest automatic tailor is in front of the autonomy lab. Next question. Newspapers are supported primarily by the sale of advertising space. Next question. So this is a third question type for your speaking section. So you have to describe an image. So you will have 25 seconds to read this image, and after 25 seconds you have to speak for 40 seconds, and you have to speak completely 40 seconds, and you have to introduce the topic, you describe the topic, and you have to give a nice conclusion of the topic. So your 40 seconds starts here. You can record your answer for next 40 seconds, and then we'll check your answer at the end of this video. Start here. Alright, I hope you recorded your answer. Moving to the next question. So again, you will have 25 seconds to read or try to understand the image, and next 40 seconds you have to record your answer. So entirely 65 seconds I'll give you for each described image. Next question. So again, you have 25 seconds to read out this image, and then 40 seconds to record your answer. So total 65 seconds you will have here. Alright, moving to the next. I hope you recorded. So same 65 seconds again for the next question. Moving to the next. Next, another image. Next question. Alright, next question. Again, there is another question type, retell lecture. So here I'll read out a lecture. Okay, and once I complete the lecture, you have to retell the lecture in your own words. And for that, the instructions you have to be careful. Read here in the instructions that you will hear a lecture. After listening to the lecture in 10 seconds, please speak into the microphones and retell what you have just heard from the lecture in your own words. You will have 40 seconds to give your answer. And remember guys, you have to speak just after 10 minutes. Otherwise, you will, if you do not speak for 3 seconds, the recording will stop and you have to move to the next question. So it means you lost the question. So you have to immediately try to speak after finishing the lecture. And in every word, every question type in this section, so you have to speak just after finishing your the speaker once finish the recording. So you have to start after that. So I'll be going to read out a lecture here, and you have to retell that lecture in your own words in 40 seconds. The shuttle was designed to be a space truck. It is a multi-purpose vehicle. We have done a tremendous number of different things with it. It's the most versatile space vehicle that has ever been built. We have used it to launch satellites. We have used it to repair satellites in orbit and put them back into orbit. We have used it to capture satellites and bring them back to Earth for repair. We have outfitted it with the space lab built by our European partners and used it before the era of the space station to do scientific research. We use it as part of our partnership with the Russians, which it will continuing first as part of the Mir space station, where we actually prolong the usual life of Mir by several years through logistics fly visit with the shuttle. And now, of course, we are using it to build the new International Space Station, which is a huge international partnership. So now you have 10 seconds. After 10 seconds, you have to start your speaking. Alright, let's start now and record it for 40 seconds. Alright, now let's move to the next question. Interviewer. In an article that you wrote that I just read, you said you wished you could take everyone back to decade ago to look at the Florida case. Interviewer. 50 years ago. Think about how much change has taken place in the short period of time. We have managed to consume on the order of 90% of the big fish in the ocean, but the tunas, the swordfish, the shark, they are most gone. Until recently, people have had the belief that there isn't much funny music human beings can do to change the nature of ocean. But in fact, we have not, just because of what we have been taking out and the destructive means often applied to take fish and other creatures from the sea, but also what we have putting into the sea, either directly or what we put into the atmosphere that falls back into the sea. Interviewer. So if you were going to give a grade on the health of the ocean today, what would it be? Interview. Well, it depends on which aspect across the board who the ocean are in trouble. It's hard for me to assign a specific grade. Maybe. So now you have 10 seconds. After that you have to record your lecture, retell lecture in your own words. Alright, let's start now and record for your answer for 40 seconds. What is that? Alright, so I think you recorded. So let's move to the next one. Interviewer. What nutritional guidelines should we be following? Interviewee. Well, probably the best source of nutritional guidelines are those that are issued by the American Cancer Society of the National Cancer Institute. And the American Cancer Society, for example, offer 4 really basic, simple nutrition guidelines. The first guidelines, which in my mind is the most important, is to choose most of the foods that you eat from plant sources. And we can talk in more detail about that in a moment. The second guidelines is to limit your intake of high-fat foods, particularly from animal sources. The third guidelines is to be physically active and achieve a normal healthy body weight. And the final guidelines is to limit consumption of alcohol beverage if you choose to drink at all. Interviewer. So, Suzanne, one of the things we always hear about from the American Cancer Society is the 5-a-day recommendation. Maybe if you could explain it our listening audience what that actually means. Alright, so that's all. So you have 10 seconds now, and after that you have to record your answer for 40 seconds. Let's start now here. Alright, move to one. Answer short question. Alright, again you have another question type here. So answer short questions. I'll be asking you a short question and you have to give the answer in a word or maybe 2 words, 3 words. Alright, so let's start with first one. What organ do cardiologists specialize in? Moving to the next one. If telescopes are used to locate distant objects, what instrument is employed to magnify minuscule objects? Moving to the next. Which kind of punishment for a crime is thus less severe, an imprisonment or community service? So you can write your answers. How many sides are there in bilateral agreement? Which is the longest, a decade, a millennium, or a century? Moving to next. A manufacturing process releases noxious gases. What is the most important safety measure for workers at this plant? Ensuring good ventilation or appropriate footwear? Next. A list of events placed in the time order is usually described as what? Next. If a figure is hexagonal, how many sides does it have? Next. What key mineral makes sea water different from fresh water? Next. In the animal kingdom, is the purpose of camouflage to attract a mate, to find food, or to hide? Next. Alright, so that's the end of the first section of your speaking. Now another section is, second section is your writing section. So here we have first question type, that is summarized written text, and we have item number 1. So you have entirely 10 minutes to write your summary here. I hope you've gone through my videos for strategy to how you can write summary, nice summary. So use those strategy here, and so your time starts now. You have 10 minutes. You can read out it, okay, and you can write your answer in 10 minutes. So please go through these instructions here. Read the passage below and summarize it using one sentence. Okay, you have to answer in one sentence only. Type your response in the box at the bottom of the screen. You have 10 minutes to finish this class. Your response will be judged on the quality of your writing and on how well your response presents the key points in the passage. So you have to write the key points in one sentence, and that sentence should be long, between 30 to 70 words.
पानी क्या इसी का फ्रिज में डालना फ्रिज में रख दो अच्छा डालना तो किचन में रखना तो पानी क्या हुआ मैं बाद में भर दूंगा
All right. 3, 2, 1. Moving to the next question. This is the second question for summarized written text. Again, read out this question and write your summary in one sentence. And after that, you can check your answer at the end of this video. So now you have 10 minutes again. So go ahead. Alright guys, I'm moving to the next question. You can continue your writing, and you can stop your writing, and once all the questions will be completed, you can finish your writing and then check your answers. Do not check your answers before complete. You will not complete from your end. Once you complete from your end, your writing section and other questions, then only you can check the answers. It will be beneficial for you. Otherwise, there will be no benefit to practice mock test. So now we have a second question type of writing section, that is your writing essay. So guys, sometimes you have two essay and sometimes you have two summary for this writing section, so it depends. So you have to be prepared mentally that you will face two essay or maybe two summary, or otherwise two summary and one essay, so that could be possible. So here is the instruction about this question. You will have 20 minutes to plan, write and revise an essay about the topic below. Your response will be judged on how well you develop a position, organize your ideas, present supporting detail, and control the element of standard writing English. You should write 200 to 300 words. So guys, this is the question. So you have to read this question carefully before starting the your writing. You should understand this question clearly, otherwise you will lose your entire marks if you write something else which is not asked in this question. Alright, so you should know all the techniques, strategies to write this question. So again, I'll recommend you guys go to my channel Bharat Bhushan, and there is a 2-3 videos related to how you should write your essay and summary. So first try to learn that, and then again you can write a question here, you'll give an answer here for this question. Alright, so you again have 20 minutes for this question. So I'm not holding this video for 20 minutes here, so you can just read this question, and now moving to the next question, another section, your reading section. And before, again guys, first write your answer, then check the answers of this mock test. Otherwise there will be no benefit of practicing this mock test. Alright, so you just go through this question. I'm moving to the next section, that is reading section of this mock test. And trust me guys, the questions which I'm sharing with you here with this mock test, these are the same kind of pattern questions which will come in your real exam. Okay, so that will these questions will definitely help you to practice your real exam. Alright, so moving to the next question. Meanwhile, you just note down this question and write your answer, and later you can check your answer with this mock test answer. Alright, moving to the next. So first I'll read out this question to you. That tobacco, mainly in the form of cigarettes, is one of the most widely used drugs in the world. Over 1 billion adults legally smoke tobacco every day. The long-term health costs are high for smokers themselves and for the wider community in terms of health care costs and lost productivity. Do government have a legitimate role to legislate to protect citizens from the harmful effects of their own decisions to smoke, or are its decisions up to the individual? So two things are there. You decide on which particular part you want to take in this your answer, and don't forget to mention the other part. For example, if you want to go with the first part, that is, do government have a little role to protect citizens from the harmful effect, or you want to go another part, that is, are such decisions up to the individual? So is the government play the role or the individual? So you have to decide before writing your answer. You want to go with individual, then write your answer accordingly. Okay, So you have to be very careful while writing your answer. Moving to the next question, next section, that is your reading. So we'll go for reading. This is the first question type here in the reading, multiple choice, choose single answer. Alright, so you have paragraph and the multiple options, you have to choose a single answer. So here no timelines actually. So you read it and you have an entire timeline for this particular section, and you have to save the time for each and every question here, and you have to move fast for the next question. So try to finish this particular question maximum in 1 minute. So I'm giving you the 1 minute only here. Alright, moving to the next one. Again choose single answer, 1 minute. Alright, so again moving to the next question. Multiple choice, choose multiple answers. So this is the another type of question for reading section. Again try to finish it up one minute, but it's quite long one, so it will take more time, but still you have to be very careful about the timing. So I'm giving you again 1 minute here. Alright, I think it's over 1 minute. So let's move to the next question. Again choose multiple answers, giving you 1 minute here. It's a small one. Alright, reading reorder paragraph. This is the very important question type, high weightage question in this reading section. So you have to be very careful. You should know all the strategies and techniques to answer this question. So it should be not taking more than 2 to 3 minutes here for this question type. So I'm giving you 3 minutes here. You can note down the order, correct order. Alright, moving to the next one. Again, you have 5 boxes. You have to read carefully. I'm giving you 2 minutes for this. Moving to the next. Alright, so this is another question type in your reading section, fill in the blanks. So in this fill in the blanks question type, you have a paragraph with the fill in the blanks, and the bottom of this screen you have options to fill in these blanks. So you have to read this, try to scan this particular paragraph first, and try to understand what is the topic about this paragraph and what is talking about. Try to imagine, trying to say the information what they are talking about, and then you will able to understand what is the missing here, and then choose the answers from the bottom of the screen. So again, you need to spend only 1 or 2 minutes for this particular paragraph. Go ahead and choose the right answer. Alright, moving to the next question. This is another second item for fill in the blanks. Same, you have to read this paragraph and choose the right answer from the bottom of the screen. Alright, moving to the next. This is item number 3, fill in the blanks. Very easy one. Alright, moving to the next. Item number 4, fill in the blanks. Try to use collocations. So a lot of collocations are helping here to choose the right answer. PTE exam is based on collocations in all sections. Alright, moving to the next. Okay, another question type, reading and writing, fill in the blanks. For this question type, you will get mark for your reading as well as for your writing. So this is very important question here, question type here, which will help you to gain marks for two sections, reading and writing. So be very careful by choosing right answers in this question type. Again, you should take only 2 to 3 minutes to finish it up. Alright, moving to the next. Again, same question type. Item number 2, reading and writing. Try to understand the topic of the paragraph, then it will become easy to choose the right answer. Alright, moving to the next. Alright, moving to the next. This is quite longer one, but a nice topic. Global climate change. Alright, moving to the next question. For reading writing, you will may have 5 to 7 questions. Alright, moving to the next. Alright, so that's the end of the reading section. Now we are moving to the listening section. Guys, in your real PTE exam, you will have a 10-minute break that is optional if you want to take in your listening before taking the listening section. And because those 3 sections quite tired one, so you want to take a water, go to washroom, it's optional. So if you want to continue the test, you can continue. Otherwise, you can take a 10 minutes break and then come back and start your listening section. This is the end final section of your PTE exam, right? So here we do not take the 10 minutes break, so we continue here. So this is the listening section. You always hear some recording, and then accordingly you have to give the answers. So I'll do not playing a recording here. Instead of that, I'll be speaking here. Okay, and you can give your record your write your whatever it is required you can do at your end to give the answers. So first question here is to summarize spoken text. Alright, item 1. So you will have a short report. Write a summary for a fellow student who was not present. You should write 50 to 70 words here. Okay, and you have 10 minutes to finish this task. Your response will be judged on the quality of your writing and on how well your response presents the key points presented in the report. So you have 10 minutes to finish this task. You should write into 50 to 70 words. Alright, so I'll read a particular summary here and you have to give the answer in your 10 minutes. Okay, so let's move here. Alright, so that's a summary. I'll read out for you and you have to summarize it. So scientists are discovering that when you touch someone, you communicate very specific emotions such as sympathy, disgust, gratitude, or even love. The current issue of the scientific journal Emotion features a series of studies about touch. Reporter Michel Tredieu touched base with the lead researcher. Michel Tredieu says, psychologist Matt Hertenstein from DePaul University in Greencastle, Indiana, decided to study touch while he was watching parents interacting with their babies, making faces and cooing sounds, squeezing, stroking, nuzzling them. Mr. Matt Hertenstein, DePaul University, say, and all of a sudden, it struck me one day and I thought, I wonder if touch can communicate distant emotion, much like the face and the voice. Michel Tredieu says, decade of research has been done on the face and the voice and the distinct emotions that they communicate, but touch has been relatively neglected by researchers until Hartenstein stepped in and began his experiments. Mr. Matt Hartenstein says, we invited 2 participants into the lab and we put a curtain up between those two people. Mr. Tredieu says, so they couldn't see or hear each other. One participant, the sender, was told to try and communicate 12 different emotions, one by one, to the other participant, the receiver. Mr. Matt Hestonstein says the receiver would put his or her arm underneath the curtain on to the sender's side. Mistletoe says the sender would then touch the receiver forearm, trying to communicate the specific emotions such as envy, fear, love, embarrassment, anger, gratitude, pride, digest. So that's the end of this summary. So you can start now writing your summary, and you will have 10 minutes. I'm not holding this 10 minutes for this video. You can pause here and write your answer and complete that in 10 minutes, and later at the end of this video I'll share the answers of all these questions. So I'm moving to the next question, where I'll read out a summary and you have to summarize that. Alright, item number 2. About 20 years ago, Kent Anger and Barry Johnson came up with 750 chemicals that could harm the brain during development. Nobody has since then dared to update that number. It's just a guess today. There has to be more than 1,000 if there was 750 20 years ago. But the problem is also that we have put too little emphasis in the type of Earth's research. For example, it has taken so far the OECD 10 years to devise a battery of tests that they could recommend for systematic testing of chemicals for development neurotoxicity. That panel, that battery, has not yet been completed and authorized by OECD. So it's taking way too long because it's complicated. But there is so much at stake. Children are just losing IQ points and losing their concentration span, memory, or motor functions. But in the present world, where there is so much emphasis on knowledge and brain functions, this can also translate into dollars. The EPA has calculated that every time a child loses one IQ point because of chemical pollution, it costs society something like $8,000 or $10,000. So that's all for the script. You can just try to write down your summary as per your. You can note down the main points while recording is going on, and after that, on the basis of main points, you can write your summary from 50 to 70 words. Alright guys, so now I'm again moving to the next question. Alright, so this is the multiple choice, choose multiple answers. So I'm going to read out a summary transcript here, and you have to hear carefully, and then you have to give the answers on the basis of these options. If you think about light bulbs, they are an enormous infrastructure. They are in every building in the world, more or less. They have kind of privileged position above us, around us. They can see. If you think about it, you know most part of any room. The kind of keys was to say, well, that if we consider a light bulb not to be a light bulb but actually to be a digital projector, it just happens to really low resolution. In fact, it is 1 by 1 pixel digital projector. You turn on the wall switch and a green pixel comes out and paints your room. Okay, well, that's ridiculous. But what if you put a higher resolution projector inside that same familiar glass bulb? Well, now you have a device that can illuminate. If you turn on all the pixels the same color, you still have a light bulb in the usual sense. But if you turn on the pixels different amounts and different colors, then you are kind of projecting information out into the world. And if the same time that you are doing that, you put a little teeny camera inside the bulb, Then not only is transform flowing out of the glass, but you are collecting optical information. So crew one of those into every one of these pictures, and suddenly you have a means potential to put display and interaction everywhere throughout the world. The purpose of this talk is to suggest way to make indoor lighting more economical, illustrate how an everybody object could inspire new technology, persuade listener to participate in a scientific study. Alright, now moving to the next question. Again, multiple choice, choose multiple answers. We are led to believe that basically much of eastern North America was heavily cloaked in mature forests that today we covet as old growth, and yet one time it was the sort of ancestral, botanical blanket that covered much of it, and certainly Massachusetts and New England. Certainly, one of the first things that happened as increasing waves of colonists arrived was the need to clear the land, and this clearing of the land is something that started really in the form of small subsistence farm. The timber was used for building houses, for building ships, for firewood, for all manner of things. The builders, the erratic, the glacial erratic stones that were so much a part of the New England landscape are today sort of what we find in the literacy work of stone walls that one can find practically anywhere in the landscape if it is in relatively untouched condition. By the early part of the 19th century, it's thought that generally the genesis of clearing had taken place sometimes in the 1830s, 1840s, and the trees and the forest were essentially clear cut to an extent that is almost unbelievable. Question is, what happened as a result of the arrival of colonists? Huge area was deforested, old farming methods were abandoned, large expanses were planted with new species, stone quarries were depleted. You have to choose more than one answer here, multiple choice, multiple answer side. Moving to the next. Here we fill in the blanks, item 1. Alright, so answer is also here, but do not concentrate on the answers. So I'm speaking here, so you have to listen and fill the answers in the boxes. One seminal difference in policy remains: the coalition has not matched what is labor most important innovation promise, that is bring together responsibilities for innovation, industry, science and research under the single federal ministry. Innovation responsibility currently lie within the powerful Department of Education and Science, and while there is a separate industry department, it has little influence within cabinet. Thus, this has hampered policy development and given Australia's innovation policies a distinctly science and research bias. It is the scientists rather than the engineers who call the tune in innovation policy and Canberra. So it's no surprise our policy are all about boosting the government funded research and later commercializing their results. Next question. We have decided to adopt just as a loose theme for the course a biological theme so that you can see the connections between chemistry and biology and the things that you might consider doing in the future. We want you to think about the molecules that are relevant to your body, the processes that occur in your body, the chemistry that's going on, and how energy plays a role. And we divided the course into 4 sections, and after each section there will be a midterm, the first one, or an exam. The first one is about matter. Next question. Highlight correct summary. Alright, so I'm reading here, so you have to highlight the correct summary here. So what influence consumers in different parts of the world? Many factors that affect how we as individuals and societies live, buy and consume, and it should be readily apparent that culture has a profound impact on the way consumers perceive themselves, the product they buy and consume, and the process by which those products should be purchased, and the organization that sells those products. Moving to the next. Maybe you are not getting all the options here, but I'll explain that later. So first I'm reading here. So we are not running out of oil. The first thing that one can say with absolute confidence is that we are not about to run out of oil. We are definitely not, but what we are approaching is the end of the first half, and this is one way to describe it. And this chapter is history. It lasted about 150 years since the first oil was produced, and we are coming to the end of that, and you have to find oil before you can produce it. And when we look back into history, we can find that peak of discovery was in 1964, and that the discovery of oil has been falling ever since, relentlessly, and it has been falling despite the worldwide research, always aimed at the highest, biggest, and best prospect. No one's looking for the smallest and the worst, the biggest and the best. It has been falling despite amazing technology and the geological advances. We understand this business so much more than we did, and finally it's been falling despite a very happy economic environment whereby most of the cost of exploration is written off against tax. So I would say, in view of all of those incentives and all of those benefits, its discovery has actually been falling relentlessly. There is no good reason to think that this trend is going to change direction. So in other words, we have passed the peak. Moving to the next one. Multiple choice, choose single answer, another question type here. So I'm reading you the script. I have chronic pain and at times this is severe, but this is managed with opiates. I know the general public has a very perverted view of opiates because they think street addiction, heroin, drug smugglers. However, if prescribed correctly by doctors in the right dose for your height and weight, and you manage it well yourself, I haven't increased my dose of 80 milligrams of morphine in the last 18 years. So that's a very good illustration that no, you don't double it every 10 minutes the way the general public think. And also it's very well looked after by government. I have no present myself to my GPs who all get to know me very well every 30 days, and they have to phone to Canada to have authorization, and I get my monthly dose of opiates to keep me doing till the next lot. What is the main idea that speaker is trying to convey in her comments? The dose of opiate needle to treat chronic pain is usually 80 milligrams. The rate of morphine addiction has not increased over last 18 years. Government can play a key role in chronic pain management. Authorization for the prescription of copies is required every 30 days. You have to choose the single answer. Next question. Alright, so I should say one more thing about theory. It's a great to discover theory, but you have to lose a lot, and you may have noticed, or maybe you didn't, How much you lose. Partly you don't notice it much because here at the university every day is dedicated to theory, and what's left out is perception, cause you use your mind, not your eyes. Skills you are not supposed to have an particular sort of bodily kind of skills. There is a kind of mental thing, but I'm not. Let's not call that skill. I'm just calling skill the way you cope with everyday stuff that you use and so forth. Institution, it's not fair to have institution. I mean, you can have institution, but it's not theory. It's not something that everybody has to believe until you can put it into language and argue for it. Gets rid of emotions, the body, tradition. What is the lecture mainly about? Perception, how it relates to the mind and eyes, the institution, and how used it to form theory, and how it forces you to lose aspects of yourself. Select missing word, item number 1. So you'll hear a recording about an analysis of medical research finding. At the end of the recording, the last word or group of words has been replaced by a beep. Select the correct option to complete the recording. So transcript is here. Robin Gimel. My PhD students Eleni Chong did what was called a meta-analysis, where you analyze the literature very carefully to see what evidence there is to suggest that what we eat, particularly in terms of antioxidants, prevents you getting macular degeneration. Norman Swan. Because ophthalmologists have been using antioxidants quite a lot. Robin Gimel. That's right. There have been studies looking at whether antioxidant supplements slow the progression once you have the disease. Whereas this study was looking at trying to stop you getting it, B, before you understood after diagnosis from antioxidant in the first. So answer is in the first place. Next question. So what message does for every species is generate a lot of diverse individuals with different capabilities in the hope that by having a population with very diverse individuals that at last some of them will competent to survive, and it's widely successful. Almost every species on this planet has has a way to create genetically diverse gametes, and they use meiosis to do that. Okay, so meiosis is extremely important in the evolution of life and the survival of the bee. Genetics diversity species. Highlight incorrect words. So you have to highlight the incorrect word from you have a paragraph, and you'll hear a recording, and while you hear a recording you have to highlight the incorrect word in the paragraph. Alright, so I'm here reading a transcript, and while you listen, read out the below paragraph and highlight the incorrect word. So far in our discussion of chemical reaction, we have assumed that these reactions only go in one direction, the forward direction from left to right as we read it in equation. That's why our arrow points from left to right. Reactants react together to make products. However, this is not exactly how things occur in nature. In fact, practically every chemical reaction is reversible, meaning the product can also react together to reform the reactants that they were made of. So instead of writing that single arrow facing from left to right, a more appropriate symbol would be a double arrow, one going from left to right and one going from right to left. Reactants are continuously reacting to form products, but at the same time as those products are formed, they remake the reactants. They are both going simultaneously forming each other. This is what we would call a state of equilibrium. Alright, so moving to the next. Again, highlight incorrect word. I think the importance of the creativity today really reflects a fundamental shift in the nature of the economy. You know, In the old days, wealth was created because in the industry era you manufactured something, you got economics of scale, you had long production runs, you were really efficient. You know, you could get a Morotti any color just so long as it was black, right? So there was standardization, and there was a whole set of assumptions about how to manage, how to create an organization. You know, a typical kind of hierarchical organization to make sure that things can run smoothly. Well, that may be great for a relatively stable era of history, relatively stable, but now things are fundamentally unstable, and so we need less economies of scale and more economies of discovery, which means that the management approach, the organizational approach has to go to shift as well. Right from dictation, you must submit your assignment by next Friday at least. So I'll be reading these lines and you have to write as much as possible. So don't read these lines here, just let's hear me, and you have to write the sentence which you will hear from the recording. Alright, so first sentence I'm reading here. You must submit your assignment by next Friday at least. Write immediately after once you hear. Next, the time of the math lecture has been changed to 10:30. Next, final year business students have to write a 5,000 word essay on market trends. Next. Alright, so that's all. We completed all the sections: speaking, writing, reading, listening. Now we are here to see the answers of all the questions we discussed. So I'm sharing you the answer key here. Go through it. So starting from speaking, you just check out here. Alright, check out next. Describe image item 3. Main points to be included in the description. Describe image item 4. Alright, describe image item 5 and 6. See the item number 5, it was comparison chart.
अंदर से
Alright, moving to the next. Answer short questions. Moving to the next. Moving to the next. Moving to next. Before writing here. See how summary written here.
मेरे ख्याल में मैसेज आया था कुछ तो वो हो गई यात्रा
Next. This is the sample answer for essay 1.
और फिर गिरा होगा तू तोड़ देगा मीठे तेरे से ये उठाना है उठा दे इन्हें
Moving to the next here. Answers for reading.
ये क्या हुआ अब फुल हो लगा भाई बेटा भाई मेरा बेटा नींद नहीं आई आपको सो भी लिया
कोई ना सो
लिया और मेरे में भी हो बहुत देर में ना बहुत देर में मेरे को भी हो रहे हो मेरे को भी हो रहे हो गरम गरम बहुत गरम
Moving to next. Yellow highlighted are the answers.
ये रख दो मिनट का
मिल गया कहाँ मिला वो आगे से गिराया अब सुबह
Moving to the next. Moving to the next. Moving to next. Moving to next. Let's go listening section. Summarize spoken text. And multiple choice, choose multiple answers. So summarize spoken text, we have two summarize spoken text here. First is related to touch and second is related to 20 years ago, the list of chemicals. So two answers here, two answers for first question, multiple choice, choose multiple answers. Now multiple choice, choose multiple answer, item number 2. To correct is shoes, E is word deforested, and C section of land were delineated with stones. And we have highlight correct summary item number 1 with the correct answer and explanation. And highlight correct summary item number 2 with correct answer. Multiple choice, choose single answer. Item number 1, correct one is the government can play a key role in chronic pain management. Multiple choice, choose single answer. Item number 2, correct is theory and how it forces you lose aspects of yourself. Highlight incorrect word for item number 1. The first incorrect word is equation, then we arrowhead, reality, then we write, top, produce, quality. Highlight incorrect words. Item number 2. First is rift, second is everything, effective, centralization, presumptions, functionally, recovery. Alright guys, so that's all in this mock test. I covered each and every section of your exam with the right number of questions, with the right order. So please share this video if you like it with your friends so that they also can practice for their PTE exam. Please If you don't subscribe my channel, subscribe my channel Bharat Bhushan for more PT videos, for more mock test. And I already prepared many videos related to PTE exam, so go to my channel Bharat Bhushan and watch all those videos related to PTE exam to score high in your PTE exam. Thank you.